What's going on, guys? Welcome back to Gotians Games. And if you're joining for the first time, make sure you hit the like button, subscribe if you guys are new. Usually I'll put that somewhere in the middle or at the end, but I just wanted to say that right now. And also, I wanted to let you guys know that there's always a lot of content dropping on the channel, so make sure you guys check out every video. YouTube is not going to promote all the videos because, let's be honest, I do 3 to maybe 4 or even 5 pieces of content per day at this point, depending on the day, because on the weekends I tend to live stream more. Anyways, today or this morning we're talking about World of Warcraft, and I think this is hilarious. I really do. I played World of Warcraft when it came out, so I'm an old school player. I played Vanilla WoW, I played Burning Crusade, Wrath of the Lich King, and then I stopped after Wrath of the Lich King because World of Warcraft at that point after Wrath just went downhill for me. It became too easy. There was no sense of community, no sense of guilds anymore. They made it so that way there's no reason to be in a guild. You could just guild hop and still run everything, and there was no point anymore, and it sucked. It really did. So I stopped playing at that point because I just lost all sense of community, which is what the game had, and that's what kept me playing. Anyways, World of Warcraft Classic players are mistaking features for bugs. Oh, by the way, if you're not aware of the whole situation, World of Warcraft Classic is Vanilla WoW. They're bringing back Vanilla WoW right now. It's in beta testing. So let's read through this. Blizzard has released a not a bug list. I like this. This is good. This is good. World of Warcraft Classic recently launched a small-scale closed beta for a limited number of players ahead of its live release worldwide on August 27th. Since the beta started, Blizzard has apparently been receiving reports from players who are mistaking features of the classic version of the MMO for bugs. As a result, the studio recently released a not a bug list to clear up any misconceptions. Let me actually I want to open that up because I want to take a look at that. We'll take a look at that after we read this article. But this is funny. Okay, the reason why this is funny to me is because, again, I played World of Warcraft from the beginning, and when recently I did jump into the most recent expansion, Battle for Azeroth, because some of my subscribers wanted me to play, and I couldn't get back into the game. It felt weird. It didn't feel like I was used to, and that's because it's been a long time. The last time I played World of Warcraft was in 2010, so we're talking 9 years later. So that's a long time to not play a game. So jumping back into World of Warcraft now is vastly different than when I played it during Wrath of the Lich King. So anyways, the legacy servers reverts WoW back to the 1.12 version that originally launched in 2004. To be true to how it was back then, the studio has reproduced everything the older version has to offer, including inconsistencies, which has evidently led some players to believe it's buggy. In the blog post, Blizzard's community manager addressed that the nature of the WoW Classic will invoke different memories for different players, which can easily lead to misunderstandings. As we discussed before, the nature of WoW Classic Did they just type that in twice? It typed it in twice. As we discussed before, the nature of WoW Classic sometimes invokes different memories for different players, and this, why did they put that in twice? Whatever. As a result, the studio has outlined a list of commonly reported gameplay in WoW Classic that is actually not a bug. You can see the full list of features mistaken for bugs below. Okay, all right. So let me go to Blizzard's actual website because, got to give credit to Blizzard. Okay, so let's see here. As we discussed before, the nature of WoW Classic sometimes... Okay, yeah. The following is a list of commonly reported gameplay in WoW Classic that is not actually a bug and is working as we expect it to. Taurens hitboxes and their melee reach is slightly larger than other races. Yeah, I remember that. Dude, there was so many people playing Taurens back in the day. Man. Being critically struck while using sit does not cause abilities like Enrage, Blood Craze, and Reckoning to activate. Using the automatic quest tracking option does not auto-track newly accepted quests. It instead will start to track an existing quest once progress towards an objective is started. Warrior health regeneration is working at the expected rate. Oh, that's a funny one. Um, Quest objectives and points of interest are not tracked on the map or mini-map. I remember that so much. I used to have to get an add-on that would track points of interest that I've discovered, especially considering that I was an herbalist alchemist. So the add-on would then keep track. It would pinpoint the last known location for that herb that I was looking for, and then it would then upload it to a server for other people to find. So it was kind of like a peer-to-peer kind of tracking app or tracking add-on that they had in the, not in the game, but like Curse Client. And so like I would then plan out my route to go and harvest all these herbs on the map, because that's like, it would always mark it from where I last harvested it. And so then, it would then show you the percentage of people who have reported that herb to be there, or that mine to be there, or whatever. And so you would have that point of interest because it wasn't a normal thing in the game. I mean, it would show up on your radar if you got closer to it, but it wouldn't show on the actual map, which was very good that I was using that herbalist add-on. Okay, so anyways, completed quests are marked on the mini-map with a dot and not a question mark. Feared players and NPCs run fast. I remember that. Because I remember that specifically because if you got feared in certain boss fights, it would just like lead you to aggro other freaking bosses and other mobs, and then you're just like, oh fucking hell, I'm dead. Standing on top of other players while facing away allows spells and attacks to be used. Creature respawn rates are much slower than in Battle for Azeroth. I remember that too. NPCs which offer multiple quests may inconsistently display them as a dot or exclamation on the available quest list. They were inconsistent in 1.12, and we've reproduced the exact inconsistency they had back then. That's funny. That's funny, man. Quests that are too low level for you do not show up as an exclamation point in the game world. Available quests do not display exclamation point in the minimap. On Level Up the Message, your skill and protection increase to 15 was added in 1.12.1, and we're intending to keep that. We appreciate all your feedback. That is great. That is great. Thanks for posting this. Dude, that is great. I love it. I love it. I mean, like, they're like, yeah, we got, you wanted the classic version, so here you go. That is fantastic. I honestly, I'm wanting to play WoW Classic because that's what I played is vanilla WoW. I loved the freaking raids that were in the 40-man raids going through Anoxia's lair. I mean, that's why we have the whole Leroy Jenkins, like, because of Anoxia's lair. Like, all of that stuff is there for nostalgia, and because of all the updates, you couldn't go back to play all those raids from before, or if you did, they were vastly different than what they are now, or what they were before. So I'm glad that Classic WoW's coming. I'm glad it's a thing. I think it's hilarious that people think they're bugs when that's just how the game was back then. And of course they'll be making updates to Classic WoW just to make it a little bit smoother, I'm sure, just because technology's changed. So I don't see why they wouldn't. What I'm curious about is how, like, are they just going to keep it like Classic only vanilla WoW, or are they going to eventually put in Burning Crusade and Lich King? And I feel like after anything before Cataclysm, I think is safe for Classic, to be honest, because after Cataclysm, it completely changed the world of Warcraft, and it changed the way the raids were and everything like that, because then Anoxia became a big deal. Like, you had to go and kill her, and it was a whole different ball game after Cataclysm happened. So to my opinion, yes, Classic WoW is original vanilla WoW, but you can consider Burning Crusade and Lich King to be somewhat classic as well, considering that it is 9 years or 10 years ago. 11 years ago, because Lich King came out and I played Lich King for like a year and a half or whatever. So Lich King was like 11 years ago. So I would consider all three of those, Vanilla, Burning Crusade, and Lich King to be all classic, because that was before the major overhaul of Azeroth happened. And God, since then we've had so many other things, like a freaking sword got thrust into into Azeroth. I'm surprised Azeroth is still a planet. But I'll leave that to you guys. Make sure you hit that like button, subscribe if you guys are new. Let me know down in the comment section, what do you think about just the whole World of Warcraft thing, the classic thing going on right now. And do you think, or do you believe that Burning Crusade and Wrath of the Lich King would be considered classic because it's pre-Cataclysm, or are you just a purist and it's just like, no, classic is vanilla WoW and that's it? I honestly feel like it's all three of them, but I will leave that to you guys, and you guys have a great rest of your day. Peace out, guys.